Chapter 1. The CEO. When we employ the services of a CEO, Chief Executive Officer, or when we promote someone to be one, we are expecting that someone to lead the organization. You see, those that are following, such as the board or team members, expect a lot from you. Among other things, they expect a transformation of the organization. We look forward to the CEO being someone who is going to lead the organization to the next best level. We don't make you a CEO to come and bring us to the same standards or take us where we have been taken before. Coming on board as a CEO means that you have a vision and a horizon in the path you are about to take us. We expect magic. We expect good and big ideas. We anticipate that you will create a team that has the same energy and speed like you. The challenge now is that many people take the CEO's position just like any ordinary position. They do not see it as a role model's position. It's a position in which people look at, worship, and admire. Here is a challenge. Many people take this key position only to take us where we have been before. That on its own is failure. The true success of a chief executive officer is taking us to a place where we all wish to be. A person who comes and gives us assurance that we can do it, and surely he shows us the way. The biggest problem comes when someone takes us to a place where we have been before. Now, as I take you through the coming chapters in this book, it is very important for you to know that the tactics and the tips are in two different ways. I will be highlighting a good CEO and a bad CEO. And I will also be highlighting what a CEO needs to do. These are key in changing an organization. For example, I want to start by tackling the issue of the mood. The mood of every organization is determined by the CEO's mood. Yes, I am talking of the general mood. I am talking about the general character of the CEO. What you carry or how you are in that top position descends to the last office. If you are a happy person, even your workers will be happy. Don't force people to smile when you, as the CEO, can't even put a smile on your face. It doesn't work that way. What you showcase is what is seen across the organization. In this book as well, I will tackle on how you can create leaders around you. Don't expect people to become leaders, yet you don't train them to be leaders. A perfect leader's motive is to create other leaders, people who carry the same zeal, energy, horizon, and same vision with the CEO. You are supposed to create people of such a caliber. In this chapter, which I entitled The CEO, I am talking about this leadership aspect, an aspect of driving the whole train towards the same destiny. What is your vision? What are you trying to make of the nation? What are you trying to make of the organization? You are the Chief Executive Officer. We believe in your vision, and the powers are laid upon you. You drive us in a certain mood, hence, give us that mood. Set the pace by giving us the proper mood. Do we have the mood for work? Please show us how it's done. Are we smiling? Do we have the mood for work? Please show us how it's done. Are we smiling with the working mood? Show us how it is done. Don't expect us to be happy as we work when you as CEO are angry. Many CEOs think that becoming untouchable and sending commands downwards will make the workers do the work well. That's a lie. A proper CEO must lead and show us the way. When you show us the way, we follow your way, and that's what a good CEO does. It is crucial that as a CEO, you create leaders around you. If you want to grow and develop an organization, it is of paramount importance that you create other leaders. You must create an environment that permits the growth of other leaders. You need to always be aware of the fact that everything hinges on leadership. My CEO, you must understand that it is key that you become the model. People's eyes are on you as you do things. As the role model, you should give them the zeal to the point that they will say, "We want to follow that person." This is what makes you their mentor. As you mentor them, you start to monitor their actions, motivate and multiply them. These 5 are very important M's. As you monitor their actions, you start to motivate them to do more. As they do more, then as a leader or CEO, you must always create other leaders. You start to multiply good people. It is very, very fundamental that you must multiply good people. You must create an environment that multiplies good people. Remember, I said when you get into an organization, first of all, you are the model and you become a mentor because of your actions. You start to mentor their ways, then you motivate them continuously. By so doing, you multiply good people. This is the art of a CEO. Whenever you get to a place and you become a leader, your first and fundamental role is to create other leaders. This will help your leadership. In the subsequent chapters that you shall come across where I talk about who is moving your ladder, it's a meaningful sense that I learned from a certain author in America. I will speak of a ladder as a tool of reaching the highest level. Ladder movers are key people that can help you to stretch to other levels. However, in order for you to have such people called ladder movers, you must create a conducive environment for them. A proper CEO ignites a fire which was not there and he becomes the model. When it is that way, everyone in the organization wishes to become like you. Here is a question to you. Does everyone in your organization desire to dress like you, imitate your talk, or act like you? If that is the case, then you are a good CEO. On the contrary, if everyone else looks at you and they cannot relate with you, then something is terribly wrong. A true CEO creates an environment which is conducive for people to say, "You are our model." Then you start to mentor them. When you mentor them, you start to monitor them, which then enables you to motivate and multiply them. These are the important 5 M's which, if followed, should multiply the leaders and then become more and more in the organization. And they become more and more in the organization as they keep moving and pulling in one direction. I assure you, if a company is being managed like that, there is no way you can fail. I guarantee you success if you follow the 5 M's tip. Summary of the 5 M's. Model, monitor, mentor, motivate, multiply. In the coming chapters, my CEO, there is a part that is very crucial. It is the issue of hiring and firing without understanding the culture. I will expand it fully, but before you hire or before you fire, do you understand what you are bringing in or what you are changing? It is not always an issue of changing people, but sometimes it is an issue of changing the culture. I will expand more on this subject as we go along. This chapter is highlighting why I wrote this book, as well as explaining the reasons why I speak to CEOs. Remember, we need a good CEO who can change and bring fire to a dead organization. Our aim is to rise and shine. I am believing that so far, you have picked out some vital things that are key in your organization. Your vision must be known to everyone. As I said, I will not be teaching on the basics. I am of the sentiment that as a CEO, your vision, organogram, and the reporting system are all clear to everyone. I am talking of the general things, the reporting system, tax regulations, the movement of finances within the organization, the directors and finance team. All is clear to everyone. Whatever is needed to run an organization must be clear to everyone. What I will be touching on in this chapter of a CEO and what you are supposed to implement in order to see change within the organization. What I will be touching on is the character of a CEO and what you are supposed to implement in order to see change within the organization. I am believing that you understand the basics that are needed to run an organization, and you have come across these basics in your journey to CEO. Thank you for tackling the basics and being ready to listen so you reach another horizon. Allow me to make reference to my previous books such as The $1 Billion Class and Leadership series. Every leader must exercise. Make it a point that they eat good food, because as good leaders, you must be able to impart that good positive energy upon others. They must see it in us as we lead the way. A wolf pushing snow while others follow. Truly, your purpose as the mentor is to create an environment to motivate, mentor, and multiply, because you are the role model. A true CEO must believe in people. Offer them time and encourage them. People cannot be nurtured from a distance. They can only be nurtured when you go into their circles, closer to them. Most CEOs do not want to be close to their people. They think that they will lose power. To tell you the truth, if you are powerful, you are powerful. And if you are not, you are not. If you go to people and offer a potential leader your time, it is an investment because you groom and develop them. It is very, very vital that you spend time with your workers and develop them into leaders. Remember, you are trying to get a team that will support and stand by you. When you are with them, you must show them that you believe in them and believe that they can do it. When you raise their expectations, people also rise with those expectations. However, when you become judgmental or create examinations, speculations, and interrogative statements, you give them a sense that they are being tested. They won't work to be productive, but rather as if they are being examined. Instead, encourage them. Show them. I assure you, when you make people aware that you believe in them, you motivate them to release their maximum potential. Everyone is packed with great potential. But if you don't show them that you believe in them, their potential won't come out. You need everyone's fullest potential. It is very, very essential. I will expand more on this in a chapter to come. As a conclusion on the CEO's chapter, the biggest weakness that I found in CEOs is that they do not operate on truth. Number one, they are never with people to get the true picture of what is happening. If they are with people, it is those who submit and are aligned to them. And such people will never tell them the truth. A proper CEO goes to the lost person and listens to every problem. This is key. Whether you are a president or a person in leadership, note that a good leader is a good listener. This will help you to grow your company. If you do not listen, your company will collapse. And this is a fact. Take note of the fact that negativity is a very big blessing to the CEO. It makes you grow. Create a culture and a way which allows you to listen to things that might result in the downfall of the company. If you take note of that and implement accordingly, you will experience drastic change. Are you listening so that you bring change to the organization, my CEO? Take note of this. This game is about winning. It's about strategies, beating time and convincing the world that you can do it. The value you have within you is the value that must bring income to you. When you have developed well, you are paid to be what you are. You are paid because of the greatness that is packed inside you. It is very crucial that you take note of this fact, that time is never on your side. Everything will be moving fast as you are competing with a dynamic world, a place that is transforming to digitalization. Time is moving, thus your strategies must be swift. You cannot afford to be like any other CEO. When you get to this position of being a CEO, you must know that you are in competition and the competition is you, not anyone else. Rather, you are competing in whatever you are doing so that you can attain the highest possible level. As you look at yourself, you have buried potential within. You must be able to unleash that potential, my CEO. Ensure that you unveil the greatness that is packed inside you. For that potential to be unleashed, you must light that fire, zeal, and always tell yourself that I can do it. I personally learned after Mr. Mwene spoke to me that there is nothing under the sun that I cannot do. It is only about creating a vision and making it bigger. As that vision grows, I take it as the biblical Goliath and look at myself as the small David. Small as I may be, I should have tactics that are very big, big enough to knock out any giant. This is the mind of a CEO. A proper CEO must see himself as a giant slayer. Here you are with an intimidating opportunity ahead of you. The economy may be nerve-wracking, but look, we, the followers, are actually looking up to you. Just like that wolf leading the pack in snow, paving the way with its chest. We, therefore, equally look up to you to pave the way. Even in a hard economy, where the nation is facing an economic crunch, you must not give up. A seasoned CEO does not surrender. No, you do not give up. You continue to push. We are called Chief Executive Officers. When the economy says no, you say yes. I have always told you this. You don't change goals because things are tough. You change the strategy. You change the way you are going to attain the goals. I always ensure that I remind myself regularly that I do not change the goals, but I change the strategy. When I launched Aguma in November 2018, it was blocked in Zimbabwe, but I managed to register it in other countries using a different name. I did not change my goal, but I changed my strategy. You see, in life, when things seem difficult and you are pushed away from an environment, don't shut the door. There is no chief executive officer who pushes away his vision because things seem tough. You change your strategy. Here is a question to you. If you are having a tough task ahead of you in your company or organization, what new strategy are you going to use? That new strategy is your breakthrough to success, and it must be attained. You must win the case, but the question is, what strategy are you going to be using, Madam CEO? We do not give up. We continue to push. CEO Understanding Business. On the cover of the book, I wrote that we are no longer in the world of standardization, but we are now in the world of customization. It is an ancient style for a CEO to go to a new company and maintain the existing standards. That's serious failure. You must not go and maintain a standard in existence. Instead, you must go and create a new culture. We must go and create a culture which is needed by customers because there is an intense expansion in terms of business. You see, like I said earlier on, I do not want you to be a CEO who maintains things, but a CEO who changes things. A certain movement, new culture, or a new way of doing things must be brought into the company upon your arrival. Look at what Samsung or Apple are doing. They listen to the users and understand what they need. They then customize their products and services according to the needs of the users. Ericsson failed to maintain the standard and in turn failed to maintain the mobile phone business. You, as the CEO, must create a certain customization line. After all has been said, what do you do now? The answer is, you have to become a listening CEO. Next question then becomes, what is a listening CEO? It simply means you create strategies which allow people to report to you, strategies that allow people to tell you their needs. You create ways of listening to the users and end users. When they submit complaints, that's your biggest advantage. You must learn to listen to complaints. When one is complaining over your product, you must listen to them. You must give the best of your attention. When that is sorted, then you will be home and dry. I started the same in my church. I used to force people to get delivered. Of course, people want to be delivered, but they hunger to be blessed more than they hunger to be delivered. I changed my approach to blessing them. I told them to bring their business documents and I blessed them. As they saw better results in their businesses, they started responding. Surely, when I release a blessing over their businesses and life change. When I shifted to blessings, which also changed their life, it means I set blessings as the standard for running the church. It means I looked at the needs of the church and customized according to their needs. I looked at what the church needed and I did that. You see, for you to go through those 5 M's mentioned earlier on, you must show the way. In order for them to copy and to follow you as their role model, you must understand the way. Understanding the market is key, as it can motivate your people and in turn make them more like you. Marketing is not understood by everyone. You must have what are called angels. It is fundamental for every CEO to have what are called hidden angels. Hidden angels are a skill or an art in which you have people who study and research for you. People who do the dirty work and donkey work for you, and then you take the pride out of their work. Personally, I have got such people in my life. They are dear, and I call them private angels. Private angels are people hidden behind the scenes, yet they go out of their way to research on your behalf and pour out their findings to you. I call them private angels. Why? It is simply because they are not seen by the public eye, and it is only the glory that shines on you that is seen by the public. You are the chief executive officer, and you are allowed to have such people in your life. They come to you and rescue you with information. They rescue you in research and studies. In the eyes of many, you are a great CEO, but deep inside you, you are fully aware of where you are getting your information. I have very important questions to you, my CEO. Do you have private angels? Do you have people who come to you and give you information whilst you are seated? When you become a chief executive officer, it's a demanding position. People expect you to have all the answers. You need to have people that don't have to knock on your door for an appointment. If all people around you have to book an appointment to see you and you don't have private angels, then you have failed as a CEO. Allow me to talk to you, Honorable CEO. Have private angels who go behind the scenes and research for you and bring you information. Yes, you have to pay them. And these people don't operate in a formal way. These private angels are not known by people. They are your friends. You can laugh at them and you can go have coffee with them later in the day. These are the people you have to support more than anyone else. These are the people you have to be there for more than any other. They are private angels who come by night. Offside. Malaysian president. In a stunning election upset, Malaysia's 92-year-old Mahathir Mohamad has defeated his one-time protege, the incumbent Najib Razak, at Wednesday's fiercely contested polls. Mahathir's win ends the ruling Basan's National Coalition 6-decade-long monopoly, paving the way for the country's first transition of power since independence more than half a century ago. Mahathir, Malaysia's longest-serving prime minister, stepped out of retirement and defected from the party he helped entrench in order to lead the opposition. When he is sworn in, Mahathir will become the world's oldest head of government. Source: www.time.com. Mahathir Mohamad, the current president of Malaysia, was succeeded by Najib Razak, but got back into power as an opposition leader after he won elections on the 10th of May 2018. He brought in drastic changes, which include arresting the one person whom he saw fit to be his successor. Malaysian President, Part 2, Kuala Lumpur. Former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak, on Monday, December 10, 2018, was arrested by the country's anti-graft agency over alleged tampering of the first Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB audit report. In a report, the Star said Najib was arrested at around 11 a.m. at the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC headquarters, shortly after he arrived at the premises for further questioning over the issue. Source: www.channelnewsasia.com. When Mahathir Mohamad was quizzed on his actions, he disclosed that they were good men when they started off, but power changed them. Their mission of serving the nation was diverted to feeding their own egos. £200 million hoard found in homes of ousted Malaysia Prime Minister. Malaysian Prime Minister, Part 3. Najib Razak, Telegraph.co.uk reporter. Lesson learned. If people are in power, it can get to their heads. They take themselves as gods. Yes, everyone is a little god, but do not allow power or people kneeling before you to make you think that you are superior or above the law. You really need to manage your power and control your emotions. You might be the superpower today, but tomorrow you will need the cleaner. Trust me, they all start good. Understanding the team. When Jesus Christ was on earth, he knew what he wanted to achieve. He was supposed to come, get betrayed, be crucified, rise from the dead, and ascend to heaven. His mission was clear. This made it even easier for him to choose his team. There is one thing that I have realized. People move in a direction without understanding the team that they are working with. Hence, they wrongly position people. It is key to understand the people you are going to be choosing. Earlier, I explained and mentioned a part which was very important, in which I said every CEO must create leaders among the people he will be coaching. Yes, it is very important, but you can only create perfect leaders among the team if you understand who they are. You are starting your business. Who are you going to partner with? Who are you going to be moving with? This is a very, very important thing. If you do not know who you are moving with, you are going to be moving with your enemy. Creating a team is very important. Jesus wanted 12 disciples for his mission, and he chose 12 disciples. Take a look at how he did it. He never chose disciples from a particular church because he knew what he wanted to bring in was non-denominational. It was universal. He went on the streets, went to those who were already in business. He told them to stop being fishermen, but to be fishers of men. He transformed physicians into preachers and transformed tent makers into preachers. He knew his mission and he wanted dedicated people. He chose Judas among the people so he could betray him. This was very key for his strategy. So you, as a CEO, when you have been promoted or are starting something new, the team that you move with is very important. You need to have a good team. In football, when Mourinho moved to Manchester, he bought Pogba to support his midfield. Every manager or CEO of any big football club in the world first of all monitors the players before signing them in, because he may be a good person, but if your team is wrong, you are doomed. You want to go into farming, I understand. You will interview people, but as you interview people, what are you looking at? It's very important to know. I have got a story of a farmer I would like to share. The person was very good. I made him a CEO because he understood his crops, but he never produced into the second year because of the many mistakes he made. My farm manager. After listening to his knowledge in planting, how to harvest, how to cultivate, and knowing all the chemicals that are required, I hired him. I gave him all the power and authority over my 6,000 hectares. My aim was to make myself the biggest farmer in the country. Yes, he was full of knowledge. I tell you, I have never met a person who knows crops like him. He had all the information one would ever want to know about crops. He would study the rainfall and terrain. He understood the tractors among a host of other sophisticated farm machinery. He was my CEO. I learned a lot from him, but the biggest lesson that I learned from him was that one can be a good worker in terms of results, but may fail to relate with the co-workers. Somehow, after doing such a good job, he would just push you into firing him on a daily basis. 1. He did not know how to communicate. 2. He did not relate with co-workers. Yes, as a CEO, you are supposed to command, but as a basic need, you have to show us the way. He knew how to do it, but he was too commanding instead of showing people how things should be done. He had a special ability to irritate the board to the point that board members wanted him gone. He was a farm manager with results. He harvested 14 tons per hectare, which was unheard of, by the way. He produced results for me, but I couldn't take him to another season. He lacked the art of producing and relating as a CEO. As I said, don't be like my farm manager. I remember watching a movie in which the man who was the chief executive officer had an art of competing. He instilled competition in his workers through incentives that would motivate workers to go ahead and give all their energy. Everyone was supporting his vision, including the cleaners. His team was very supportive of him. He had an art like that of a wolf. He had a way of herding his gang. As you know, wolves can sacrifice and take the leading role, even in the most dangerous situations, so that others can follow. My farm manager was extremely good and was a crop expert, but he was bad at relating with others. Here are basic questions for you. Can you relate with your workers? Can they give you enough energy? Are you like my farm manager? You fail to relate and only dictate. If you dictate, they give less energy because they find you boring. You have to become an artisan of relations. When you relate properly, people will give you energy. Do not become like my farm manager. When I started coaching Yada FC after being number 14 or so in our local league, I realized that we had good players, but the coach was not giving them their correct positions. My first art was to understand the team and to know their capabilities. I placed them according to their biggest strengths. You know, I always teach and say, a person must do what they love most and what they're good at. Some people like to do marketing, but they are not good at it. People tend to like doing things that they are not good at. The most important part with your team is to try and prophesy their potential. Try and pick out what they are good at as you try to work along with what they are not good at in mind. I tell you, you will get their biggest strengths out of them. When I went to Yada FC end of 2018, I realized their biggest mistake was bad positioning, which caused confusion within the team. The issue was not really about body size, but about skill and accuracy. It was about knowing what to do. The skill and the art of defense within them was supposed to be picked up by the coach and position them correctly. What I then did was to reposition them. You, as the CEO, are supposed to ensure that everyone is correctly positioned. You only see this when you get close to people. Remember, I told you to remain close to people so you get to know them better and allow them to do what they love most and what they are best in. Offside, Dr. Sebi. There is no money in the cure. The money is in the sickness. The pharmaceutical business not only needs you sick, but doesn't make money if you're well. What if I told you I had a cure for AIDS? Would you believe me? What about cancer or diabetes? There are those who believe that Dr. Sebi, born Alfredo Baumann, a world-renowned vegetarian herbalist, healer, pathologist, and biochemist, had the cure for all of them, all the diseases that bring devastation and an altered existence before snatching the lives of those who don't break free. There are many who believe that Dr. Sebi, who was not a licensed physician, became a threat to a multi-billion-dollar industry that not only relies on continued sickness but also needs it. It profits from it. On May 28, 2016, Dr. Sebi was arrested at Juan Manuel Alves International Airport in Honduras for carrying some $37,000 in cash. He was released pending a court hearing, only to be rearrested June 3 by the Ministerio Republico, Honduras version of the FBI, and charged with money laundering. Dr. Sebi remained in custody until August 6, when he was rushed to a local hospital, reportedly suffering from complications of pneumonia. Dr. Sebi died en route. He was 82. Below are 5 mysteries surrounding his life and his death. Offside. 1. Dr. Sebi cures AIDS. Dr. Sebi rose to cult-like fame, pushing a simple dietary premise that food is alkaline for the body and dead food kills your body's natural ability to heal and regenerate healing. By eliminating what Dr. Sebi considered toxic foods like meat, poultry, seafood, all processed or synthetic items, alcohol, sugar, fried food, and iodized salt, the body could regain detoxing. Replacing those foods with plain ripe fruit, non-starchy vegetables, especially leafy greens, raw nuts, nut butters, and grainy like quinoa, rye, and kamut potatoes, the body's natural healing properties. In doing so, he claimed to have cured several patients of AIDS, cancer, diabetes, and blindness. 2. 2. Dr. Sebi's court case. The myth of Dr. Sebi grew stronger in 1988 after the self-taught herbalist ran ads in the Amsterdam News, Village Voice, and the New York Post, noting that AIDS has been cured. The story goes that the New York State Attorney General and New York City Department of Consumer Affairs told Dr. Sebi to remove the ads. He refused and was arrested. The charges leveled against him included practicing medicine without a license, selling products not approved by the Food and Drug Administration, and fraudulently claiming that he could cure AIDS and other diseases. The judge asked Dr. Sebi to bring in one patient who could testify that he had cured him or her of these potentially fatal diseases. He reportedly provided 70 patients and won the case. And the legend of Dr. Sebi was born. Offside 3. Dr. Sebi's arrest. Dr. Sebi's arrest records have not been released, so it remains unclear as to why he was arrested, released, and then re-arrested for carrying so much cash, since it wouldn't have been unusual for a healer who had treated several high-profile clients who reportedly included Michael Jackson, Lisa Left Eye Lopes, John Travolta, and Eddie Murphy to have a large amount of money on him. Lopes was actually in Honduras visiting Dr. Sebi when she died. 4. Dr. Sebi's family couldn't get him out of jail. Dr. Sebi was born in 1933 in Honduras and spent his life there. He had 17 children. Dr. Sebi's family was reportedly trying to get him released from custody, but to no avail. He was held for over a month with no court date. Although no serious crime had been committed, because he had no court date after his second arrest, bail was never set. 5. Dr. Sebi never released Major Acclaim. Major Acclaim newspapers didn't cover his death. In fact, major newspapers barely covered his life. Surely, a man who not only claims to have cured cancer, but also beat a lawsuit alleging that he was a quack by bringing in apparently healed patients into the courtroom would be someone the world would want to hear more from. Newspapers didn't even invest any energy in debunking his claims. Conspiracy theories believe that the lack of attention paid to Dr. Sebi's teaching, the lack of publicity surrounding his reported success, and the mystery surrounding his arrest and death are because, as any street hustler can tell you, there's no money in the cure. The money is in the sickness. The pharmaceutical business not only needs you sick, but doesn't make money if you're well. It is easy to write off conspiracy theorists as loons who invest too much time in internet thinking. But I wonder if some of us are too connected to conventional thinking just because it's what we know. Conventional thinking has me questioning why prescription medications have commercials if you have to have a prescription to obtain them. Drugs are big business in this country. Dr. Sebi was pushing a healthy lifestyle that moved people towards better eating and in turn less medication. I don't know if I'm ready to choose between the red and the blue pill, but it does lead me back to my original question. If I told you I had a cure for AIDS, would you believe me? Believe me. Believe me. Believe me. Believe me.